Anyone who's watched Winnie the Pooh will know that on more than one occasion when Christopher Robin leaves a note for Pooh, the note always gets misinterpreted. Now, sometimes that misinterpretation could be because Pooh can't read. The misinterpretation could be that Al has read it wrong. For example, in Pooh's Greatest Adventure, it started with Al reading a note from Christopher Robin, which he gave to Pooh. The note said, "I'm going to school." Al read, "I'm going to skull." I could understand school, skull. I sometimes have difficulty with words and saying things myself. But it does make things interesting when you see how easy it is to misinterpret what we're reading and what we're saying. That's why reading is always important. I now have improved in my reading and my writing because I read almost every single day. I still stutter. I'll always have that stutter. But I wonder how many times Christopher Robin has written a note and it's been interpreted wrong. Christopher Robin has left a note today for our dear friend Pooh. But as we can see, a misinterpretation leads to a great and wonderful adventure. This story is a Winnie the Pooh story, and it's called The Mysterious Backson. One morning, Winnie the Pooh woke up to his tummy rumbling. He was certain a visit to Christopher Robin would turn up some honey. But when he reached Christopher Robin's house, he found a note taped to the door. Pooh couldn't read it, so he brought it to Al. It says, "Gone out, busy, Backson." "Backson?" Al looked horrified. "Christopher Robin has been captured by a creature called the Backson." Luckily, Rabbit came up with a clever plan to capture the Backson. Pooh and Piglet got straight to work digging a pit. But Pooh's tummy still craved honey, and he wandered off in a daydream. Tigger wandered off too, to track the Backson on his own. Pooh's friends were looking for Pooh everywhere when they heard a loud thud. "The plan worked," Rabbit said. "We've caught the Backson." The friends cautiously peered into the pit, only to discover that it was Pooh who had fallen in, not the Backson. They tried to throw in a rope so Pooh could climb up, but instead they all fell in. Everyone except Piglet. Now Piglet had to save all his friends. As tiny Piglet searched for help, an enormous shadow fell over him. "Backson!" he shouted and ran off. But the shadow was only Tigger, dressed as the Backson. Back in the pit, everyone was relieved to see Piglet and Tigger. Soon the friends were able to climb out of the Backson trap. Back above ground, Christopher Robin had appeared. Pooh handed him the note. Christopher Robin rolled his eyes and explained that he had written that he would be back soon, not Backson. Relieved, the friends were on their way back home. There was just one problem. Pooh was still hungry for honey. He got to Al's front door and pulled the bell rope and realised that it was Eeyore's tail. Pooh decided that returning Eeyore's tail was more important than satisfying his tummy, and he brought his friend the tail right away. Eeyore was so relieved to see his tail back again that he offered Pooh a big pot of honey. After all of that, all of his honey dreams had finally come true. It's amazing how adventure ended on a good deed that tracked back to the original reason of the adventure. That's a true story. A true story is a story that starts at the beginning and has a resolution right at the end, the keynote being at the beginning. Pooh wanted honey. He'd headed over to Christopher Robin, saw the note and went to Owl. That triggered an adventure. And when the adventure ended, Pooh still got the original honey that he wanted, even if he didn't get it from Christopher Robin. Stories like that hook people. They draw them in, allow them to imagine the story in their dreams, as I hope you will have your dreams soon. I mentioned in the early hours of this month that I was going to do a video dedicated to a friend of mine. However, with the recent happenings that happened to, I think it's like Caroline Flick, that's going to be postponed for a little while in her honour. Also, next week there might be far less videos coming in after Tuesday. Due to a family emergency, I've got to concentrate more on my own needs than the channels. I'll try and keep everything as updated as possible, but for reasons that are personal, I may not be able to. Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to explain, but right now I'm still in kind of mourning terms with what has recently come to light. I hope that things will improve with time. And on that note, before I start blabbering, I'm going to call it a night. I hope to see you all again soon, and I'll see you again tomorrow for our story. Now, some of the thumbnails might be a bit off as well. I'm learning YouTube as I go along, and it coming later on in videos, I'll have to make a harsh decision on where my channel is going to go, and what the future of the channel is going to be. But I hope you stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy every minute, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye for now.